So this is just an update on the expulsion process. I did get denied and I can no longer go to SCU as I thought because I left a snarky appeal because I don't really believe in their program anymore after realizing how they don't use evidence for anything. They don't practice what they preach. I mean, they're run like a cult to protect their brand rather than to own up to their responsibilities and mistakes. Anyhow, and there's proof in this too, because if you go around campus and you choose to make the mistake of going there and you see people wearing the same technology, even in instructors that you know are recording or capable of recording, that they did nothing to do it. So it means that there's something more to why they kicked me out, which is because I was sharing a database that interferes with a research project that they poorly designed that exploits children and holds them back. If they don't waste the 20 minutes to log in through Synoptech, through Bill Kessler, for Paul Wanloss, DC, he's the one who actually pushed it forward with Shelby Google, who, for whatever reason, wants to hide other information to protect the brand because that's the only reason she's hired. So if she can't do her job, then she's going to get kicked out. And she's an old lady and nobody wants to hire old white ladies that think they are powerful and have more power than they do. That's why they operate with arbitration instead of letting people bring their lawyers or have time to actually investigate or actually give warnings or anything, because they'll just use the student conduct. So that was my student ID number. This was actually yesterday, right around the time I was getting other stuff going on. So this is from a Dr. Michael Ramcharan. He's an MD, but he also chose to be a DC, and then he also chose to have a doctorate in education. I'm assuming that's a PhD. I'm not really sure because they say it's piled on high and deeper the further up you go, the bullshit. So it doesn't really matter. It just gives him this job because obviously he didn't like being a DC, didn't like being an MD, but together he could support their cult appeal. So let's see. He's the vice provost of associate vice president of academic affairs, and he CC'd this to the provost of the school, LACC, within SCU, DC Dean, University Registrar, Associate Vice President of Student and Lonely Services, which is Shelby Google, Director of Financial Aid, and the Student Accounts Manager. It says, you were given a notice of expulsion September 20th since your actions were in violation of the University Student Code of Conduct. After reviewing your appeal and the evidence provided by the conduct investigation, your expulsion from the Doctor of Chiropractic program and the university will stand. Per the university catalog, this outcome is not subject to further appeal and readmission to the university. By this letter, I inform the program, the financial aid office, student accounts, student services, and the registrar that your appeal was not successful. If you have questions about implications related to these offices, please contact them directly. This is certain to be difficult news. Please be aware that free confidential counseling support is available 24/7 through SCU's partner, All One Health, 1-800-56, there should be a number in there, -3124, code SCUHS. I wish you well on your future endeavors. Sincerely, Michael Ramcharan, MD, DC, EDD. And then it says those listed people that he sent it to. And then it says their address in the lower bottom corner to clarify. And let's go to the email for that. The attachment, that's what I just read. Dear Ms. Corona, please see attached is the final decision of your appeal request that was submitted on September 22nd. My appeal request was sent September 22nd. Sincerely, Dr. Ramcharan, and then it has his imagery logo right there. And then let's go into my financial aid, because I also got a letter from financial aid. If you withdraw from school and the school didn't make a required return of loan funds to the loan servicer, you might be eligible for discharge oh my god, my dogs. Your federal student loans. Learn more about the unpaid refund discharge to see whether you might qualify. How do I apply for unpaid refund discharge? How much of my loan will be discharged? And then here is the letter they sent me in the email. Financial aid R2 T4 notification. This was sent a few hours, 4 hours and a half after that other letter of the final expulsion. Due to Corona, federal financial aid awards, also known as Title IV funds, are awarded under the assumption that a student will remain in attendance for the entire term for which the funds were awarded. Students who withdraw with all courses prior to completing more than 60% of the term will have their financial aid eligibility recalculated based on the percentage of the term completed. In addition, students may be required to pay any unearned financial aid they may have received in accordance with Return to Title IV R2T4 regulations as mandated by the U.S. Department of Education. The return on Title IV calculation must be completed within 30 days of the date the institution determines the student is drawn. As a result of your draw, we perform the return to Title IV RT24 calculation using your last date of attendance of 9/19/2024, and the results are as follows. You have earned 16.3% of your federal student loans, 4436.21. I only got paid $16,000 for living expenses, and I was backtracked on other bills that I had to pay because I got veterinary bills, I got home repair bills for this rental that I rent for my dad. I pay a lot in food because I pay that through my student money, and food is expensive. So is fuel, and so is my vitamin supplements, and then so are the supplies. And then I also have to do household cleaning, a lot of cleaning supplies, all that stuff. It adds up really fast. You'd be surprised at all those little shopping videos. That adds up to $16,000 a month. Plus, I got my auto insurance I have to pay in bulk. I got my car payment, even though it's not on my credit. It's through my business, and it's the only car I have, and it's warranted, so it's a reliable transportation. And I make the monthly payments on that. I also have a credit card, and I have internet that I have to pay for. My cell phone I have to pay for. I have other odds and ends. I have my other stuff that, because I couldn't work, I do need to have money to pay for that, to keep that up. So they came up with this $22,000 because they want me to pay for the education they dismissed me from. I was willing to work, and they didn't even dismiss me fairly or based on what a HIPAA violation is, because there was no HIPAA violation. There's no privacy law. It was just a student code of conduct. And I posted Shelby Google's conversation because she's so proud of it. And it just exploits the fact that she's not going to do anything about why I was dismissed. Like, the ruling behind it is that I violated student privacy, yet she's still going to allow recording to go on into the classrooms and other devices. So, I mean, they're full of shit. Don't go waste your money here. Do not waste your money at SCU, especially LACC. There are other programs, I don't know, but LACC, they operate like a cult within SCU. They're just trying to check off their list publicly, and then if there's any kind of bad-mouthing of their name, like their internet, I'm pretty sure they violate FCC by going into your computer and using permissions they're not allowed to use when they're not in use, when you go onto their site. Yeah, that's a very serious offense, and they're guilty of that. Because I don't have my computer not log on to the internet whenever it's on my own Wi-Fi cell phone, and then my cell phone works, so why doesn't the internet work? Because they're blocking it. They're trying to gain access to it. There's other stuff that goes on behind these little portals you have to open with digital codes and permissions, and you can manipulate and use other permissions. So anyhow, this is my student ID transaction since 7 July 2021. I put a down payment. They were initially charging me the 10-term price for a while, but I'm going back, and this is what it is. So this is what they charged the first term. We didn't get a lot of living expenses. This right here is the living expense, roughly that, around that to $5,000 for the first 6 terms, and then you go into the graduate plus loans if you have other financial aid that is keeping you from getting the regular direct loans. So then this is what financial aid gave for that term, $16,000 with a plus a direct loan. These are the fees they get deducted from that. That's what my living expenses were for 4 to 5 months, because it's 15 weeks, plus you got 2 breaks before, 2 breaks after. And you don't even get your money until the 2nd week of the term. And then they keep having to transfer this, and this didn't even show up originally, but this is how they're backtracking it. So I just wanted to make sure that when my student account says that I have a certain amount of money in it from, this is living expense second term, living expense next term. So I was getting about this much, 16,000 in loans per term. 16,000 times 3 for the first like year and a half, 2 years. And then I had to go into graduate plus because I have a master's degree, so it took up some more loan and interest. Compounding interest is ridiculous. I'm going to have to show you that. But then, so this was the last one. This is what was deposited. And yeah, that did get spent. It went to my credit card. It went to supplies. It went to all the other bills that I was back on. So that's going to get worked into me paying it back in the financial aid or them just having to wait. And it's not like I'm going to use this transcript to go anywhere just yet, because I can't transfer unless you have like a good, would have to start all over again. And this could possibly open up, okay, well, why does this good student expel? Let's do a further investigation, financial aid, possibly investigate them for student ethic violence, FCC violations, student ethic violations, other violations of student privacy, FERPA as they call it. That's on their end. So, and nobody's privacy was violated. Nobody knows any of these people. And the only people logging on that actually watched it more than 1 minute, any of the procedure videos, are classmates. And they'd watch it again because they actually were learning from it. The only people that watched it less than that or even in between were the people that were working for the office, because they're children videos, so anyone can log in with an incognito an incognito browser to view it. But then when I made it to 18 and over, they had to sign in and give their details, their IP address and whatnot. So then there was less views. And it's not children watching it, trust me. They don't have time to watch that. Parents do that. My sister does that. She makes everybody's account a child, and they're in their 40s and 50s, because she knows that you get more privacy rights whenever you make yourself a child. Every parent does that because they all talk, and that's what they do. So let's go to, hold on, I saved it here. Did I save it though? No, maybe not. Hold on, I probably saved it. Oh, here we go. Alright, so here's my aid, 341,000. 24,000 of that was interest. Check this out, and that was for 4 years on top of all of that. So I have 341,000 in loans. I have 2 consolidation loans because those are my undergrad loans that I got consolidated. 3 graduate plus loans. Those are the last loans that I got. 2 Perkins loans, 5 subsidized loans, 24 unsubsidized loans. This includes my master's degree right in here, and then the first part of the program for chiropractic. And it's through Advantage. My next payment on March 4th, 26 is going to be 0, but my interest is more than 24,000 a year. Just know what you're getting into, okay? Lately, the interest has been 8%. When I first started school, it was 4%. 5%, it went down to 4%, 6%, and it was around that when I started SCU. 9% for one of them. I can get this consolidated and they'll come up with an average rate and then get that on an IDR. But I think you have to have a job first, and I don't have a job yet. So I also have to use that money to live on, because I sacrificed a lot to go to school and finish their program. And they're not clear on recording. They say you can record and it's during public time. It's not a violation of the law because it's a public space and nobody's privacy was actually being maliciously broadcast. If anything, it just shows that they're scared that someone's going to think they're a cult, or maybe that their education is crappy, and that as 10th term students they should be cracking and making people feel great and diagnosing perfectly. Yeah, see, you can see the interest is lower. So those are the graduate loans right in there. Yeah, so you know what you're getting to. That's an update on this. I already knew I was going to get expelled. I do have to contact that school. In the letter, though, it doesn't say I can't contact the financial aid. It just says he informs them. Please contact them directly if you have questions about implications related to these offices. Financial aid, student accounts. I already got my transcript. I'll show you my transcript. I got my official transcript because I ordered it through Parchment. Let's see, where's it? Transcript. Oh, wait, that's the unofficial one. Where's the official one? Final transcript. Why does it say unofficial? Oh, it is unofficial. It's the 20th that I got that one. You know what? Let me see. I think it's in maybe this one. Official. This one's it. Official. Wow. I got that pretty soon. How to authenticate this official PDF. This official PDF transcript has been transmitted electronically to the recipient and is intended solely for use by that recipient. It is not permissible to replicate this document or forward it to any person or organization other than the identified recipient. Release of this record or disclosure of its contents to any third party without written consent of the record owner is prohibited. So I'm the record owner. I own this. It's my record. No violation of FERPA because it's me reporting me, but just in case there's some other personal information, I'm gonna pause this real quick. Okay, yeah, so I did have some personal information. Let's see, those are the beginning of the term. As I scroll down, GPA 3.5, and then you see 21, 22 summer, spring 331, 337, all the coursework, and then we got fall 22, 23, spring 335, 339, 327. That was the first 2 years. I failed scientific basics. We had to take all of these courses at once. You can see that there's a lot of courses here and there, but they're selectives, and some of them are just at different times, or they're not heavily, they're like, let's see, chiropractic foundational. Yeah, these are community infection. Yeah, they were online, but a lot of them they had just a lab assignment, and so you didn't do a final. This one you literally had a final and a lab final for any of the labs this term. The second fall term, which sucked. And this class, it is the basis of chiropractic. It tells you why they believe, with 8 different theories, that a subluxation is going to relieve your pain if you get it adjusted with a manipulation, a chiropractic spinal manipulation. A subluxation, as defined by Medicare, is when 2 joints are on top of each other and they're misaligned but they're still connecting, or there's like a limited range of motion that can be corrected and doesn't have any red flags and doesn't need to be referred out, and then you can co-manage. As in co-manage, there's also another reason once you go into coding and billing. It's not just their integrity and like not wanting someone to say they're dumb, because all MDs think DCs are dumb and don't know what they're talking about, but because they don't want to get sued for professionalism, because they guard their reputation so highly, as you can see, their brand is not as well supported by the public, so they have to create it and present a lot of hype about it. But they fail in ethics of protecting their students, and then they make sacrifices for all of them, for the good of all of them. 1, 2, 3, whatever needs to be held back. So then, let me just color this right. And then we have the next term. This is where all spring, summer, 3.7. It was a 3.8. And then fall, all W's. 3.17. Hold on, all W's, and there was more W's on their side, but they were mostly weekend selective, so it's not all at the same time. The one usually means it's like a weekend selective, or it's like an incremental class you have to take. So even if it is a low credit, you still need it to move on to other courses. Yeah, so 3,075 hours wasted and 200,000 plus compound interest on those loans and my master's and undergrad loans. But they do have programs in effect that allow you to get a house, and they use 1% of your I guess your student loan aggregate amount. And then I don't know, Harris is thinking about doing some things, and the only way you can really get ahead in life if you have that kind of loan is to have assets that accumulate that ridiculously. Like my sister bought a $400,000 house in 2012 with $30,000 down. That was 3,500 square feet. Today it's worth 1.2 million, and it's only 2024. It's probably even worth 1.5 million. But see, they're raising all these prices, and there's other things that go into effect, like cities need money, so they increase the value of the house to get more state taxes. Because if you don't pay your state taxes, your state property taxes, which you have to pay annually, a big chunk of money, which is like 1 to 2.5% of the, I guess, the discretional value of it, which they try to be lenient, but on $1.2 million, that's like $1 million. So you're paying like, let's see, what's the state? Well, it's like $10,000. So yeah, that's a lot to pay at once, especially if you're already struggling. And then people keep selling their house, people keep buying it, and the market just keeps going up, 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 up. Yeah. All right, so that's it. I recapped. Don't go there. Not in the LACC program. Maybe try some of the other programs. It might be ran better. Maybe not. I don't know. But the higher up you go in education from this experience, they're like cults. Cults. That's right, cults. They have their own rules and regulations, how they produce authority and what they decide to do, and they don't really care. They'll make their own rules. They'll violate students' privacy rights themselves, and then they'll kick somebody out for saying that they did it when they didn't. Thank you. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe.